What in the world has happened to the Chicago Bulls this season? Their performance was utterly shocking, and they're most likely to stay at home for the fourth consecutive season. But what truly happened, and what are the three glaring concerns to address to the Bulls this offseason? Keep on watching to find out. But before we continue, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell to get further updated on the team's situation. Okay, if you saw the 2020-21 Chicago Bulls season, you probably felt it was a little off. The team had a really rocky start, but despite that, they still managed to find a newfound competence under new head coach Billy Donovan and at least played their way into playoff contention. But when the Chicago Bulls traded for Orlando Magic AllStar Nikola Vucevic in March, the postseason felt more of a predictable event rather than anything else. However, in the end, it shocked all of us when things didn't actually play out as expected. The time between Vucevic trade and the end of the normal season, the Bulls went 12-17 with a 1.4 net rating, and this stretch of uninspiring form mixed with other teams such as the Washington Wizards getting their heads out at just the right time made sure that the Chicago Bulls would watch the fourth consecutive season from the comfort of their own homes. It is obvious that the team missed the playoffs once again, but what we are having trouble understanding is why are they having such a hard time performing? Is this team weak, or are there some things that they have failed to improve? Even if you are a devoted fan of the Chicago Bulls, I think that you are aware that they have no quick fix-up in their sleeve with such a record they finished with. So basically, they have no way of turning into instant championship contenders. Okay, assuming that Kawhi Leonard picks up his 2021-2022 player options and remains with the LA Clippers, there will not be any big-name super player for the team to follow. Depending on how the draft lottery shakes out, improving through the draft may not be a viable option either. This pretty much makes it clear that the Chicago Bulls have their hands tied when it comes to coming up with a way to address these problems. The Chicago Bulls need wing depth. As the season progressed, the Bulls went a bit short on good wing players. In fact, it became a bit too apparent this season. The team began this 2020-2021 season believing that Otto Porter would present himself as the high-level two-way player that he was with the Washington Wizards, but the pedestrian play with minus 0.61 LeBron and all the injuries left the team with no other choice but to send Porter to Central Florida as part of the Nikola Vucevic trade. But Porter was not the only wing player who was underwhelmed. Denzel Valentine continued to be his usual jack-of-no-trades self with minus 0.52 LeBron. Off-season signee Garrett Temple wasn't any better with minus 1.06 LeBron. Rookie Patrick Williams showed some signs of what he might become in a few years, but was far too passive on offense to have a positive effect on that end of the floor with a minus 3.14 offensive LeBron. The only thing that the Bulls can do right now is just to sit back, cry, and pray that a full offseason and a stint in Summer League leads to Williams making a jump. But even if such a thing will happen in the future, the Chicago Bulls will still need a few more dependable players like Williams, if they want to find themselves in the top four again, of course. They also need more dependable players if they plan to sign someone like Tim Hardaway Jr. or Norman Powell. The Chicago Bulls need a bench scorer. This season, the Bulls finished 24th in bench points per 100 possessions, but this problem became even bigger when the same reserves filled in when Zach LaVine missed out on 11 games because of NBA's health regulations. During that stretch, the team did even worse, ranking 26th in offensive rating. Needless to say, the Chicago Bulls really need to focus on this area more throughout the summer. And trust me, having a strong bench is highly important. If you aren't convinced, then take a moment to ponder on the fact that of the teams that rank in the top 10 in bench points per 100 possessions, 7 of them made it to the play-in and 6 made the playoffs. Bulls fans have seen enough from the likes of Valentine, Temple, Aridiciano, Ryan, and Kobe White to know that they aren't skilled at keeping the team above water when Vucevic or LaVine isn't present to lead the team. So it's pretty much time to change things up a bit. The Chicago Bulls need a point guard. It doesn't really make a difference if the Chicago Bulls sign Kyle Lowry, Mike Conley, Lonzo Ball, Goran Dragic, Dennis Schroeder, Patrick Mills, Alex Caruso, or even Spencer Dinwiddie. All of them would definitely perform better and be a better point guard than Kobe White, Thomas Satoransky, and sorry to say this, but even Ryan Arcidiacono. This team finished with the 4th highest turnover rate in the league, with White getting 27th percentile in turnover percentage, while Satoransky got the 2nd percentile. This kind of makes it clear why that number is so high. Zach LaVine, on the other hand, has made some progress towards becoming a better playmaker, but there is still room for improvement as it still doesn't come naturally to him. Similar to Devin Booker in Phoenix, he needs somebody who is capable of handling a lot of responsibility while also covering for his deficiencies as a defender during a game. But when it comes to White, he doesn't really fit in such a category yet. He is still considered a horrid defender and a chucker who doesn't leverage his basketball magnetism. But Satoransky's shortcomings as a floor spacer have pretty much proved he doesn't fit for this role either. However, he does make a good backup. I at least can say that. And Arcidiacono, well, he is best served for limited minutes. So if this team is hoping to make it into the playoffs, they need need to start airing a legitimate point guard for next season. It's now been a full decade since the last time the Bulls made the conference finals, as well as a decade since Derrick Rose's MVP season. It seems that they have really lost the spark that they once had. But the main reason why this has happened is that some of the players have not been really performing well for the position they have. So some might be risking getting kicked out after this season. The Chicago Bulls are likely to part ways with a few players in the offseason in an effort to end their 4-year playoff drought. Many eyes in Chicago will be on the additions rather than the subtractions. The rumors sending Lonzo Ball to the city through a restricted free agency will likely persist until Ball signs on the dotted line somewhere this summer. The players who don't return may prove to be just as important, however. The Bulls could part ways with a number of players this summer who were initially seen as being big parts of the franchise's future. They've instead fallen out of favor and will likely see their careers prosper or end elsewhere. Cristiano Felicio is not likely to play with the Bulls any longer. Many years ago, everybody was convinced that Cristiano Felicio would be the next big thing for the team. This is also what Foreman thought when he signed a $32 million contract with the professional player back in 2017. But I don't really know why people thought this would be true. Cristiano had just started his career back then, participating in just 4 games and not even averaging even 5 points per game. So it should come to no one's surprise that the contract with Cristiano didn't really help the Bulls go further. Cristiano did leave an impression when he averaged 5.6 points per game when he started his first 16 games with the team. However, the points just kept getting lower and lower with each passing year, until it reached an average of 1.3 per game in 2021, which is pretty embarrassing. At this point, I think he just flushed his motivation down the toilet. Denzel Valentine might probably be saying goodbye after this season as well. After a successful career with Michigan State, the Bulls were convinced that Denzel Valentine was the perfect fit for the team. Unlike Cristiano, Denzel's performance was not as bad when playing. In his second season, the professional athlete averaged 10.2 points per game, 5.1 rebounds, and 3.2 assists per game. In the guard position, Denzel even reached 38.6% of his three-pointers. But in the next season, Denzel had an ankle problem that made him miss the entire season. Now, I don't really know what happened to his ankle, but ever since that incident happened, things started going down for the player. This past season, Denzel shocked everyone when he reached the worst point of his career with an average of 6.5 points per game, just 1.7 assists, and hit 33.1% of his threes. The negative media attention Denzel received only made matters worse, as it led the Bulls to announce that they couldn't help Denzel anymore. The only thing left was for them to rag on him. What do you think is causing the team to lose motivation? Is something happening between them behind cameras? Let me know your thoughts on this. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe, take care, and hit that subscribe button.